Welcome back. Today we have a really exciting session. I've mentioned this in a couple of the previous episodes, but I've been meaning to get to this gym at some point during this couple-week trip. This is the newest Alley Up gym. It's in the Mile End location, and I've been here a couple times in the past. But one of them was just to hang out with Maddie, and then another was after I was coming off of my break. So I haven't actually had a proper session here and got to test myself on all these cool boulders. And the session was already off to a great start. This gym has got a similar grading to Block Shop. They have the white tapes are the hardest as well. So that was a white tape. I managed to do it on my first go. So that was pretty cool. And then next we have this pink tape, and pink is one below white. So it's similar to Block Shop where pink tape is kind of the hardest and white's like the bonus grade. They also had two white tapes up in this gym, just like Block Shop. So this pink, I was able to go on my second try. And that was my first fall of the session. I had done a few of the black tapes and a couple other pink tapes while I was warming up, and black tape is one below pink. So now I'm trying the second white tape, the last white tape that I had left in the gym, and this proved to be the most difficult boulder of the session. This first move is the crux of the boulder. This toe hook is pretty shallow. What the hardest part of it as well is that it's really close, and I'm like feel a bit bunched in this position. It took me a long time to figure out how I was even going to establish the start. And I was quite excited and nervous to try this boulder actually, because not only was it a white tape, but it looked like kind of my weakness style boulder, which is holds that are just like, obviously this kind of sounds stupid, but just bad holds and bad slopers in particular. I find I often struggle with friction-based climbing where the holds are just like not necessarily something you can grab really hard, and it's not even really a question about being strong. It's like I can't really just grab these slopers at the beginning harder. It's about finding the perfect position for your hips and positioning yourself underneath these slopers where you're almost trying to weight them as little as possible. That's something I often struggle with, and what often happens to me, especially in the competition, like for example, this boulder here, this could be like a qualifying boulder in a World Cup for the men, and like you could just copy and paste this, and I would probably really struggle with it, and a lot of people would probably make it look really easy. What happens is with these boulders where it's just mainly like position based and really trying to play around with the friction and being relaxed instead of just trying to grip the hold really hard, the nerves can really make this style of climb way harder to do. And it was interesting too, because I knew that, and I always know that this is what gets me on these kind of boulders. And so I was starting to get like nervous while I was trying this. I thought, oh no, I'm like, this is still a weakness of mine. I want to be better at this. And so I actually had a bit of like a mental battle while I was trying this boulder, really trying to relax and just let my body find the right positioning on these holds. And eventually, I think the key with this first move here was I just had to simply move my right hand a bit over on the start hold and the sloper, and it just allowed for a bit more tension between the toe hooks for my right toe hook. And then the ending was pretty much, this is where I could actually grab the holds, and so I was okay. I could grab the crimp, and then jumping out to the left hold, it was pretty positive. So that was both white tapes in the gym done. That was pretty exciting. And then it was pretty fun. Actually, one of the setters was at the gym, and she found me and came up to me and gave me a little button, a white top button. I guess they were doing a little event where they were giving buttons out to the people who had done all of the tape grade, and she gave me a white button and I pinned it on my backpack. And so now we're trying pink tape. So pink is one below white. I saw this boulder and it looked like 1-2 paddle with a bit of a foot stab out right. And so I tried that a couple times, and then immediately I'm kind of like, oh hey, this is way harder than it looks. Like, especially in comparison to all the other pink tapes, I think like every other pink tape in the gym went within 2 goes. And so this was the first one where I was starting to fall. So I thought either I was really not, like my paddle skills were really bad all of a sudden, or I was doing it wrong. And so I try a bunch of things. I try like kind of jumping 2 hands at this first pinch because it felt pretty good and it felt like I might be able to stop on it. But then you can see here on this last try, I realized, oh, I can just kind of match this hold here, which I later found out when I was talking to that same setter. She told me they were trying to go for a paddle, but they said that they thought it might just be impossible, which kind of made me feel a bit better about myself. I was like, oh man, I'm not too bad at these paddles. Why is this just feeling like so far away? So it made me feel better about just breaking this boulder. And so at this point, I had done all of the physical white tapes and pink tapes and black tapes. Black is one below pink. So I had, I think it was like 3 slabs left in the gym that I saved for the end, which I'll typically do. I typically save slab for the end. Just so it's just like a kind of an injury prevention sort of thing. Like I don't want to start my session off with a few slabs after I warm up and then my fingers get kind of cool and then I go climb this crumpy boulder and I hurt myself because my fingers aren't warm anymore. So I usually save the slabs for the end. And so we had like 2 black tapes and a pink tape slab in the gym. So this was the first black tape. Cool little coordination move at the start, followed by a not too difficult ending. And then the next black tape. This boulder was a lot of fun. And something I actually realized while I was climbing here as well, I would just mention this in a couple of episodes ago, how Block Shop, you look around and you don't see one single bad boulder on the wall, and that's like the only gym I could say that about. I was actually kind of thinking I could say the same thing about Allez Up. I was looking around, I was like, wow, this has kind of got the Block Shop syndrome where there are no bad boulders. And I think that just seems to be a trend with Montreal. They have just such great setting. And so this was the last boulder of the session. This is a pink tape slab. Saved it for the very end. I expected this one to take me like a little bit of time. It looked quite hard. And it looked like kind of my anti-style slab, which is like just like little small footholds. I would prefer like volume-based slab climbing or just like big slopey feet. But this is my second go. I just kind of slipped at the start once, and yeah, it proved to be a bit easier than I thought. And I was happy that after struggling on a few slabs in the past few weeks, that I was able to do a few slabs pretty quick, and that was pretty relieving. So it was back to Block Shop to do the workout later in the day. I couldn't stay at Allez Up to do the workout because they didn't have a Beastmaker, and I like my middle Beastmaker edge. I want to keep it consistent. I think that's important when you're tracking your progress as well, like with hangboard. And so started with 1-arm hangs as usual. Same weight as last session, a few sets of 10 pounds and a few sets of 5. These ones felt just slightly better though. And so I think I'm like gonna be just on track to hit 20 pounds right around Vail. Especially when we just do the last session of hangboard is gonna be just 3 sets of 1 rep. So I think one of those sets I'll be able to do a 20-second hang. That's the goal. And something else that I realized today, especially after the morning session where I sent the entire Allez Up gym in just over an hour, is I was basically done with this location as well, like Block Shop Chabanel. I just had that one white boulder left, which was a really awesome boulder, and I would love to try it again, but I kind of only just have 1 move left on it, so I don't think it's worth like starting a session, and then if I manage to get the send, all of a sudden I don't have anything left to climb. And I don't have anything at Allez Up. And the Chabanel location, or the other location of Block Shop, Hochelaga, I have a few climbs left, so I'll definitely go back there once or twice. But I mean, there's tons of gyms in Montreal. I could definitely go around from gym to gym and try and clear as many boulders as I can. But I could also do the same thing back at my home in Toronto. There's also some good gyms in the Toronto area that I can feature as well. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna head home to Toronto a few days earlier than planned and have a few boulder sessions in the surrounding gyms. And honestly, it's just because I'm getting a little homesick. You know, Maddie's away. I feel like I'm close to home, but I'm not quite at home yet. And it can impact training, honestly, sometimes. Like when you're trying to grind out this workout and all of a sudden you're just kind of feeling like, you know, I'm gonna go home and it's gonna be lonely and it's gonna be like just a sad night. Sometimes it'll just make me want to stop the workout early, and that's actually what happened today. I didn't do my military press on my split simply because I was just in a kind of a bad mood. I wasn't like super motivated, and so like every now and then you can convince yourself that you're making excuses and that's why you can't train, but there's definitely an emotional component to training, especially when you're training hard and you're training in high volume. Like you need to account for your state of mind. That can absolutely affect your training. And so I think I would enhance my emotional well-being by just kind of being at home, surrounded by friends and family. So I'm gonna head home a few days early and I'll get to squeeze in a couple more sessions at my home gym, which will be pretty cool. Maybe I'll even set a few boulders for myself. So yeah, what this means is that I'm gonna have, after today's rest day, and then I'll have one more full day in Montreal. In the morning session, my plan is to go back to the second location of Block Shop, Hochelaga, and finish off a few boulders there. There's 2 white tapes in the gym as well that I'm gonna try. I tried one of them a couple times off camera, like gave it 2 or 3 tries, but I wasn't feeling up to it. That's kind of around when I thought my session. And then if all goes well in the morning session and I send most of the boulders, I'll pick one gym as the final goodbye to Montreal. I'll pick a gym to challenge myself to go and try and see if I can send it again, send everything. Allez Up has another location as well, so I might go to that, might go there for this little challenge. And then the day after that, we'll do our Kingston trip in reverse. We'll drive to Kingston, climb, then drive to Toronto, do the workout, and then I'll be home. And then we will move into our next phase of training.